Across history, moments of great change have called for great leadership. Today, we stand at one of those moments. Generative AI is reshaping our economies, our societies, and our ways of life. And the Caribbean must lead with wisdom, courage, and vision. Over the years, we have been guided by giants, our global ambassador, Professor Bob Garrett, Professor Mervyn King, Professor Charlotte Villay, Nandi Mandela, and Professor John Elkington. As generative AI reshapes our world, governance must not just adapt, it must lead. We are thrilled to welcome Fatima Abu Salem of the University of Beirut, our keynote speaker, as we feature a week of powerful conversations, fresh ideas, and collective action. Over 5 days, more than 50 Caribbean leaders will join forces to adapt, to change, and to shape it. To build governance that is ethical, resilient, and deeply human. We thank our sponsors for standing with us on this journey. Governance Week 2025, Governance in the Age of Generative AI. Hello, everyone, and welcome to day one of Governance Week, our biggest event for the year as we bring together our largest gathering of leaders in the Caribbean to discuss many of the issues involving corporate governance. I am Kamala Rampersad da Silva, Chief Executive Officer of the Caribbean Governance Institute. We are live on YouTube today. We'll run the live stream for about 15 minutes, and this will also be run on our social media pages. Let us also say hello to everyone else who has joined us via the live stream. In this, our 6th year, we will focus on the critical theme of governance in the age of generative AI. And we were delighted yesterday to have had a very successful opening ceremony with the keynote delivered by Professor Fatima Abu Salem, who joined us from her home in Lebanon. This was followed by an excellent panel discussion with our chairman, Nigel Romano, as moderator, and with Ian John from Trinidad and Tobago, Jude Houston from St. Martin, and Kelly Ray Campbell from Jamaica, providing some insightful discussions. So today, we look forward to continued excellent discourse. We are so heartened by the response to Governance Week by our sponsors and the willingness of over 50 of our business leaders to share their time and expertise as we discuss topics that are critical to the quality of our lives and that of our children and grandchildren. Today, we begin with Eldon Marks from Guyana, and I will introduce him fully in a bit. But firstly, as you would have seen from our opening video, our sponsors, our platinum sponsor, in fact, is Massey Holdings Limited, and we thank them. This is their second time with us as platinum sponsor. We have 2 silver sponsors this year. First, Citizens Bank from Trinidad and Tobago, and Trident Trust Limited from the British Virgin Islands. We say thanks to our 6 bronze sponsors, 5 of whom are from Trinidad and Tobago. So thank you to Angostura Holdings, Public Bank Limited, PwC Trinidad and Tobago, all 3 of whom have been sponsors for several years now with us at CCGI. We say thank you to G.A. Rowan Sons from Belize, returning as a second-time bronze sponsor for Governance Week. And we have 2 new sponsors this year. Infosys Limited, which provides our link services in Trinidad and Tobago, and B-Mobile. So we invite all of you who are not yet members of CCGI. This institute is a nonprofit membership organization, and we welcome everyone who wishes to join us in our pursuit of improving corporate governance practices in the region. Today, our membership includes persons from Jamaica, Barbados, St. Lucia, Guyana, Belize, the British Virgin Islands, St. Martin, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and of course, Trinidad and Tobago. There are a lot of benefits to being part of a vibrant organization like ours, including benefiting from discounts to our training programs. Today, we proudly begin with the conference part of our signature event, Governance Week, which will continue until Friday, June 27th, with an opening presenter each day, followed by 3 panel discussions. Our opening presenters are, as I mentioned earlier, Eldon Marks from Guyana today, Ricardo Allen from Jamaica tomorrow, Javed Sajad from Trinidad and Tobago on Wednesday, Daniela Richardson from Station Sabre on Thursday, and Patricia Roseal from Barbados on Friday. So you can expect a week of tremendous learning and insights from them and the 50+ panelists who will follow over the 5 days. You should have all received detailed agendas for the week from us, but if you didn't, please email us at info@caribbeangovernance.org and we will be sure to send it to you. I also want to briefly share on some of our upcoming events and workshops. Protecting your rights as a director. The cross-registration system has been an important development in the region, but it continues to pose difficulties for directors, particularly in Trinidad and Tobago with the company's registry. So this is a new session we are planning, and we would like to encourage directors to attend, especially in light of the case involving Royal Castle in Trinidad and Tobago. From red flags to resilience, reinventing financial sector governance is a 2-day physical workshop to be facilitated by Claire Gomez Miller, which we plan to host in Guyana in mid-August, as our team would be in Guyana for an in-house workshop, which was requested by one of the banks. We also plan to host a 3-day residential workshop in Trinidad and Tobago in November entitled Excellence in Corporate Governance. Principles, practice, and performance. We encourage boards to attend so that directors may sit together and have a deep dive in not just understanding the principles of corporate governance, but take the opportunity to review its practical application via your board committees, board charters, and the way in which you provide oversight to build a sustainable organization. In terms of our online workshops, Howard Dutton will conduct financial stewardship for non-finance directors and officers on July 23rd. And on August 7th, we bring our Role of the Board series to an end with Dr. Chris Pierce from the UK, taking us through how a good board is run. Then on September 17th, Faye Lopez Collymore will be conducting a workshop on drafting minutes and other corporate documents for corporate secretaries. And of course, we have our 6th annual Global Conference on Corporate Governance set for the first week of November. All of these are online, so you can easily participate. However, we bring the year to an end with some physical events. The 3-day workshop I mentioned earlier, plus a meeting of our Corporate Secretaries Network and our fun end-of-year networking event, which will be held in Trinidad and Tobago this year, after a very successful stint in Guyana last year. I would also like to share that we are preparing our inaugural publication of CCGI's Constellation, a collector's edition publication that would highlight the people and companies in the CCGI network. This publication will give us the history of CCGI and illuminate and celebrate those who have contributed to our growth and development over the years. We expect to launch this publication at the end of the year event in November. We have sent out emails already to all of you. It shows very competitive rates for advertisements and advertorials. So if you wish to be featured, please do contact us. Now, I would just like to make some brief housekeeping announcements as we move into today's presentation. Please ensure that your name is correctly captured on your screen. That is because we are in a virtual room together. It's not a webinar, so everyone can easily access and communicate with each other. So we need to know who is with us. Also, we ask you to keep your microphones on mute throughout the session. At the end of Eldon's presentation, you will be able to ask questions. So we ask that you use your virtual hand at the bottom of your screen. When you have completed completed your contribution, please make sure to mute your microphone again in order to minimize any disruptive noises in the background. And of course, you may make comments or ask questions in the chat feature during the session, and these will be brought to Eldon's attention. Finally, we will put a survey link towards the end of the session, and we would appreciate it very much if you will take 2 minutes and give us your feedback, please. As I did yesterday, I want to set a very sobering context for today's conversations based on an article that was written by Mo Goddard, the former chief business officer of Google X, in a conversation he held with an AI named Trixie. So Mo Goddard asked about rogue AI and risks for enterprises. Trixie's response was that the likelihood of harm from AI is high, not necessarily in a killer robots take over the world way, but more in the sense that AI is a tool of immense power, and that power is almost always abused before it is properly regulated or understood. Further, Trixie added, there's an 80% chance that AI will cause significant harm due to misuse by powerful entities, and a 10 to 20% chance of an existential risk from misaligned AI goals. So the real danger isn't AI itself, but human greed, short-sightedness, and lack of ethical oversight. And this is why we need this discussion in the region, to ensure that we have the best understanding possible to prepare for this changed world. Generative AI is here. It is brilliant, and we can harness it for good or for bad. I look forward to the discussions today and the rest of the week. And so now it is my pleasure to introduce our key speaker for this morning. Remember that following his presentation, we'll have 3 panel discussions for the rest of the day. Note too that for most of our introductions, we will not be reading the full bios of persons, as this would have been sent to you in the agenda already. But I will ask Laura to still put today's agenda in the chat so persons can get it in the event that they may have missed it. And so I will ask Quantrell to bring up Eldon as I introduce him this morning. So Eldon Marks is a pioneering Guyanese tech entrepreneur with over 2 decades of experience as an academic, practitioner, and social innovator. Throughout his career, he has mentored thousands and empowered the next generation of tech leaders emerging from Guyana. Eldon is the founder of V75 Inc., Guyana's first AI company, which has been delivering innovative AI solutions to clients worldwide since 2018. More recently, he co-founded TrueSelf Inc., a US-based AI product company. The support from IDB Lab, TrueSelf's cutting-edge platform has helped numerous local organizations integrate advanced generative AI solutions to their operations. In terms of his education, Eldon holds a master's degree in computer science with a specialization in artificial intelligence from Howard University. Welcome, Howard. And I hand over the virtual podium to you for your opening presentation.
Thank you, Kamala. And it's a pleasure to be here and to share what I consider to be a much needed conceptual overview in this time of what we call our intelligence age. I'll throw this on the screen right now. Just confirm that everyone can see the shared screen.
Yes, we are seeing it.
Okay, great. All right. So the whole genesis of this presentation has to do with really a chain of presentations that I've been asked to make to demystify what this era of generative AI is all about. Effectively, in every single case, folks had a tough time orienting themselves, understanding which way is up. And this dawned on me in terms of this visualization that I'm about to take you through, which pulls together a number of different dimensions. And the dimensions have to do with not just the time frame of progression, but also the applicability of human oversight over time, as well as the automation potential or the automation complexity over time. And effectively, it presents what I consider to be an atlas of sorts. And effectively, that's what I chose to label it as, this atlas of our intelligence age, to contextualize much of what's been happening in the news around generative AI, and much of how to orient yourself as a business owner, for example, a person who is always looking ahead to identify opportunities, to make sense of everything that's happening, and then to plan appropriately or be prepared for what's to come. So I'll start here, where we begin this progression around 2018. Again, can everyone see the screen that I'm panning to? Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Great. Okay, great. So at this point in 2018, this is before the generative AI gold rush, before ChatGPT came on board. At this point in 2018, there were AI models that were utilized primarily by search engines. Google's BERT model was very efficient at this point in time in terms of indexing search pages, understanding text well enough to categorize it. The level of AI that we had at this particular point in time is what I would consider to be deterministic automation related AI. So that's the period that we built upon. And you'll find that as we progress towards the center, the era or period that's highlighted here is built upon or improved upon with the next period thereafter, but it also inherits everything that came about thereafter. So in this deterministic automation period, effectively, we're looking at deep learning models that came about to help us to do a lot of predefined processing tasks. As I mentioned in the example of Google's BERT models, to be able to process and index your search pages very efficiently. And these were based on rules and patterns defined in the training data set. These models were very good at understanding connections on that level, but they were not able to process any context like the more modern models that we'll see. And it was able to get certain things done in a visual sense or in a textual sense. And some examples of this, as I mentioned, search engine indexing and ranking, we had models that were able to do that at that level of scale. They were very mechanistic in nature. That's another aspect to it. So we could do a lot of large scale data analysis, trend spotting with these models, as long as they were trained up well enough. We could process procedural content. We can also do simple optimization processes